Hello Libra, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. All right. Now, this is going to be a general reading for mid-November. So try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And interesting, we get the other air sign card, the Lovers, right? Ruled by Gemini. That is going to be our starting point. So it feels like for some of you, this might be literally a relationship that we're focusing on today, right? For others, it's going to be connecting with a sense of purpose, right? Really making the decision to focus on our goals to the exclusion of anything else, right? Ridding ourselves of anything that doesn't quite serve our purpose. Yeah. Let's put this into some context. So here we go with the rest of our cards. Oh, we have the Hierophant as well. We've got, a couple of court cards here. This is good. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune. Oh, look at that. And we've got the Eon, Judgment, Rebirth, Reawakening, Baptism by Fire here in that one. This is really, really nice. And see, it's interesting because we have fire down here below, right? And with the Wheel of Fortune, with the Hierophant, and with the Queen of Pentacles, I kind of thinking you've struck gold here, Libra, excuse me. This with all the fire here, I'm thinking, thinking Leo, especially with the Five of Wands here, because let me just show you this card. This card is ruled by Leo, right? This is a Saturn in Leo kind of energy. So it really is through the control of this fiery, confident energy that I think you're striking gold, right? And I think you're going to go through this doorway here at the end and really level up this part of your life. All right. Now, like I said, it could be a romantic relationship for some of you. For others, it's going to be connection with that sense of purpose, right? That real commitment, feeling like you have discovered the one, right? The ideal kind of relationship. But before we get too deep into that, let's select our mystery card. This is one random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. And we are just going to, let's see where it feels right. That seems good. We're going to put it right here. We'll put Mr. Tao, the Yin Yang Duck, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, right? So no peeking. And it will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during the reading you get an idea, a sense, a feeling of what that card is, I want you to put your predictions in the comments below. All right. Trying to see if we can raise our vibrations. Let's tap into spirit. Let's tap into source. And let's discern this mystery card together as kind of a group exercise. Yeah. And I do hope you'll play along with me. Okay. Now, let's take a look at these energies again, Libra. We've got our major arcana here. We've got major arcana here. We've got fire. We don't have any water, do we? No. No, we don't have any water. Interesting. What we have is a little bit of air. And then we've got our earth energies here. Now, there's some earth in this Hierophant because of Taurus. There's some earth here in the fours. The Four of Wands because of the number 4. And then the Four of Pentacles, too, is kind of a double earth energy. It's really, really a solid card, this one. But let's focus on this Lover's energy for a second, because I really do. I feel like we're coming together. We're beginning the process of kind of stripping away everything in our lives that is not geared toward this purpose, right? And this is really the key to your success, I think, is to be focused. To ignore or get rid of anything else in your life that's not helping you to reach your goals. Now, this, for some of you, it could be a romantic thing. It could be an existing romantic partnership, or it could be a new one. It feels more like it's the recommitment to an existing relationship or someone that you might already know, because of the way the fire energy is set up and with the force, it seems like it's already something that exists. It just needs a little bit of a kind of a recommitment. Yeah. For others, this is really the commitment to your purpose, to your goals, to your whatever your destiny, whatever your life path, whatever your purpose is, to the exclusion of everything else. Now, same for the romantic people. It is still about the exclusion of others and the focusing on this one particular person or thing. If it is a person, they might be a Taurus person, and they might be a Leo person. That might be why I had that slip of the tongue and said Leo a few minutes ago, because there is this Leo energy in the reading right now. But this is a conscious choice that we make with this Lover's card. Yeah, we are choosing to focus on whatever this is, whatever this goal or destiny or purpose is. If it's a romantic relationship, if it's a job, if it's some project that you're working on, if it is your studies, if it is your spiritual work, whatever it is, right? We are, I feel like, recommitting ourselves to that purpose. And this Seven of Swords, that crosses it. Okay, this is saying that, yeah, there are a lot of other things in your life, a lot of distractions going on. We've got to clear those away, right? Whatever is going, if this is, again, I'm going to keep saying, if this is something romantic, or if it is something that's more, career-oriented, or whatever it might be, right? There are other things that are interfering with this that need to be stripped away. See, I kind of look at this card, and in some cases, this card seems to me like it's one sword that's just kind of, it's being carved out a little bit more, right? And these are just some splinters that it almost seems like a piece of wood. And there are these splinters that are falling off of it. It's almost as if we have to kind of, we have to strip away the extra pieces of wood, right, to kind of refine our tool or our weapon. And I start to think that we then, what we're doing is carving a bit of a wand here rather than a sword, right? But it's an intellectual process, because it's about seeing what's in our life and seeing what's no longer needed. What is a distraction? What kind of things are interfering with the relationship that you have, either with your purpose, your destiny, your person, your life, right, yourself, your god, goddess, deity, whatever it might be. So we're learning what's not necessary in our life, okay? And it feels to me like there are a lot of kind of interfering forces, a lot of distractions, a lot of other people around, a lot of other interests around, a lot of other responsibilities too, And it's really it's difficult to get rid of responsibilities, right? To just focus on your work, your interests. Well, there's 1,000 other things that we have to do every day, right? It seems like doing our will, fulfilling our purpose, it always gets put on hold because we have these other responsibilities. So I think the Seven of Swords is saying, let's streamline things. And if we can't get rid of something, let's find a way to economize. Let's find a way to get it done as smoothly and as quickly as possible, so that there's no wasted time, right? I think time is a big part of this. Now, part of that intellectual process involves this Princess of Swords. And this, I think, is really you starting to observe, starting to learn and see where your energy leakages might be, where we're putting in more time than we realize into these things that don't really amount to much, don't mean anything. But we have to be very careful here, because then we could start ignoring, like, well, I don't really need to sleep, right? I'm not being productive. I don't really need to eat well. I could just grab a bite on the run. But that's neglecting the kind of the foundational element, which is your body, right? Your physical self. So it's important that we have this Four of Pentacles here, because we strip away everything that is not needed, right? But we need a strong physical body. So you have to sleep. You have to rest and recuperate. You have to hydrate. You've got to eat healthy, right? You got to follow the doctor's orders, that sort of thing. So with the Princess of Swords, we're really learning to observe more than anything, right? Observe what we're doing with our time, you know. And this is why I think a very detailed diary or journal is very important. Because we can then see, like, wow, I just spent, you know, an hour and a half organizing the toothpicks. What was the point, right? No pun intended. But we don't realize how much time that we're spending doing other things. And maybe it's a meditative process. Maybe it's a way to unwind, a way to relax. Okay, then we can justify it. But first we have to observe, right? First we have to see and perhaps log what we're doing with our time so we can see where we might be able to free up some energy here to devote to this purpose. Because I feel like that's what's central to you now, finding the way to really break through. And like I said at the beginning, I think you've struck gold here because of this Wheel of Fortune card leads directly to this divine doorway, right? This Judgment card, it's a new eon, it's a new era for you because of this expansion, because of this growth, because of this great good fortune, right? Now, what is this Hierophant doing here? Well, this could be talking about a Taurus person in your life, right? That could be the romantic part of it, maybe. It could be that they're a Gemini, too. But this Hierophant energy, I think, is what is kind of motivating us to go forward. It's a bit of a mentorship here with this one. I kind of feel as if you are, like you've been inspired by something. Like maybe you took a class, maybe you saw a show on TV, maybe you read a book, maybe you had a conversation, but something then inspired you to refocus your life on this purpose or on this perhaps relationship. So when I say mentorship, I'm not thinking of like a teacher necessarily. I mean, they could be. But something, somewhere, imparted this wisdom to you that really got you thinking, you know, and started you on this process of, I think it's a recommitting. I don't think this is something brand new. I think this is a refocus on something that we've already experienced, something we've already felt, something we know is for us, right? And now it's just a matter of stripping away everything that's not for us so that we can focus on the jewel that we have in front of us. Yeah. And I think that's what the universe has been trying to show you or teach you or to kind of prompt you to do. I think that's why there's a 5 of Wands underneath everything. Because I feel like the universe isn't going to just do all of this work for you. The universe wants you to listen. And not only listen to things outside of yourself, that book, that TV show, that conversation that, you know, made you realize, hey, I really want to refocus my efforts here. It's, to me, the Hierophant is kind of, it's one of those things, in this case at least, it's one of those, maybe it's an old book, maybe it's an old photograph, maybe it's a song, maybe it's a, I don't know, a piece of art, right, a poem or something. But whenever you see it or hear it or read it or, you know, immerse yourself in that, right, for me it's a book. I'm not going to say which one. It always inspires me to get back on the spiritual path. It always inspires me to refocus on that crucial part of my life. I'll say what it is. It's Raja Yoga by Swami Vivekananda. That book to me is a classic. And whenever I feel like I'm kind of falling away from my meditation practice, I read a few pages of that book and bam, it puts me right back in this mode of I need to refocus. I need to recommit myself. Yeah. So there's something like that in your life too. Maybe you know what it is, maybe some of you don't. It's worth the effort to find it, and perhaps that's what the the air energy here is doing, is trying to discover that by taking stock of our life and kind of what we're doing, where our time goes, where our energy goes. Going through those old boxes, let's say, maybe we'll find that book. Yeah, I've got to go find mine, as a matter of fact. And that inspires us, that prompts us to action. And here is that Leo energy, that Saturn in Leo energy. Because this is a very careful card. This is a hot potato here. Because we get this kind of force and we just say, I'm going to stop everything I'm doing and I'm going to meditate 24 hours a day. We just go pedal to the metal, full throttle, right? We burn out pretty quick, okay? So it's not about just filling the tank up with gas and then seeing how quickly you can go through that tank of gas. It's about the proper degree of force. See, this is Saturn in Leo. There's a restraint on it. There's a holding back. There is a discipline to this. So it's not about, okay, well, I feel inspired. I'm going to drop everything and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to, basically, it's obsessing over it, right? I do nothing else. I don't eat. I don't sleep. I don't work. I just do this. That's not what we want, okay? What we want is more subtlety, more delicacy, more restraint, more discipline, yeah. So the appropriate amount of force, it may be, starting slow, getting a feel for it, getting back into it, right? If it's a relationship, maybe it's like just doing little things to kind of, to liven things up a little bit. Maybe it's reaching out to make contact again. Maybe it's just clearing a little bit of time, having a date night, something like this that is slowly getting back into the swing of things. Yeah, slowly recommitting to what we're doing. And I love having these two earth energies, the Taurus earth energy Hierophant and the Queen of Pentacles here. Because the Queen of Pentacles is a card for me that really represents a shift, represents a turning point in what you're doing. So to have this card now shows me that you're taking all of this into account. And it really is, this is the moment where you kind of turn your gaze from the past to the future, right? This is the card that I always say is the turning point. It's someone who is looking out over the past and seeing what was. And perhaps this is the vision, the memory of how good things were, how committed you were to this at one time, and just kind of looking at the long winding road that brought you right here today to this reading. And, the distractions, the side paths, the side quests, the interruptions, the stalls, the flat tires, all of the stuff that happened along the way, the life that happened, right, that brought you here right now today. So in this card, especially in the Rider-Waite-Smith, I feel this more so in the Rider-Waite, the longing that's in this card, right? Longing for that time that's gone by, that time somewhere in the past where you were committed to this, you were doing this, you were living this, and then life happened and here we are, right? But this card is the turning point because now that we've done that work, now that we've had that experience, we can turn this card around. It doesn't really work with a card. But now the figure can look toward the future. So what I really want to see is a Knight of Pentacles because he's looking the other way, right? Looking to the future rather than the past. But we can assume this card is just about ready to shift in their seat and start looking at the future. Because we know we can't go back to what we had. But let's take all of that, especially the feeling, right, which we don't have here. There's no water here. So what we need with this card is very important for us to connect with that time in our history when we felt this so strongly, really, really felt it, right? And let's hold on to that feeling and let's look forward. Let's look to the future and see, okay, I can't go back to the way things were. I can't recreate that time in my life. It was 20 years ago and it was whatever. How can I take this feeling and create the environment, create a life, create a plan that can foster that feeling? That feeling of union, of commitment, of love, of devotion, right? This whole lover's energy, right? To be in love with the person, the place, the thing, the idea, the religious, spiritual practices, whatever it is. And we have to take that then and create the vision of the future, because we can't go back. We need to go back for a minute to get that feeling, to remember that feeling. And then let's recreate it in the future. Yeah. We're moving to the path of the serpent, and we start with these four. So here's the Four of Wands. I feel like for some of you, there's stuff that you have to kind of tie up in your life in order to make room for this new commitment. There might be some current obligations that you have to fulfill or just finish out certain things in order to make room. It's like with the Four of Wands, we don't want to leave anything undone, right? So it's not about abandoning the things in your life that you're already in the middle of. Let's finish up what we've got. Let's finish up what we're doing, and then we can kind of start with a bit of a clean slate, and focus on this commitment. So the Four, to me, is efficiency, right? Let's get things done in the right way, but in a smooth, quick way, an economical way, a way that doesn't burn that much fuel, but also doesn't delay our progress any further, right? Find the right balance between speed and fuel economy, and really, it's all about your foot on the accelerator, because we want to get things done right. We want to arrive safely, but we don't want it to take a million years to drive a couple miles, right? So we have to learn how fast to go, and the more you do it, you learn the sweet spot with the accelerator, right? That gets you the most gas mileage, that gets you the most speed, and it has to be variable, right? That's why I don't like cruise control, because it just sets you at a speed. Your RPMs go, up and down depending on the terrain and blah, blah, blah. Enough with the car analogy. Some of you have things that you have to wrap up now before we can go back to that commitment, okay? And it could be current relationships, it could be current activities, hobbies, commitments with family or friends. It could be a job or a contract that you're under, something like that. A project that you're currently working on that would go against your principles if you just abandon it, right? That doesn't really help you. That doesn't help you to reinforce this idea of commitment, right? That's that's an anti-commitment. So the Four of Wands, I think, is very, very important here, but it is about efficiency. Okay, it's fire to earth. Having the will, setting a goal, and working on accomplishing that goal. And it could be just kind of one thing at a time. Like I said, we don't have to just clear everything off of our table so that we can focus on our one thing. Let's have objectives. Let's have goals that we want to meet, right? Short-term goals in service of the long-term goal, right? So we've got the Four of Pentacles here, and this is important because this is in the position of your environment. This is crucial. We don't want to jeopardize the safety, security, or stability that we have in our lives now. Don't do anything rash. Don't do anything wild, right? Don't let this Five of Wands, this inspiration, this ambition, this excitement, burn everything down. That would be rather unwise, right? So we try to maintain balance. And part of the Four of Pentacles is keeping the routine of things, right? Establishing an order that feels smooth, feels effortless, right? Sometimes on this channel I talk about breaking our routines, right? Bringing a shock into the system so we get out of our routines and we get some sort of awareness of ourselves. But sometimes routines are necessary, right? And if we can streamline our lives and build a smooth machine out of things that can function without interruption, without too much of our having to fix it and tweak it and make adjustments, then I think we conserve a lot of our energy and we free up a lot of our time. All right. Now, this isn't an energy that says you should just put yourself on autopilot and then just not even be present in what you're doing. I think autopilot is important, but not, I don't mean autopilot. It's not like, we're not automatons, we're not robots here. What I'm suggesting is that we try to trust in our unconscious, we try to trust in our body as much as possible. I used this analogy the other day about a tightrope walker, right? They have to do it, and you have ever seen like any kind of acrobat, anyone that does this kind of physical performance, it's so effortless, right? It seems like they're just kind of gliding along. Or like ballet or something, which my daughter wants to start doing ballet too. She's 3 years old. It seems so effortless. Or if you know any musicians, drummers, for instance, they make it look so easy, so effortless, right? And that's because they've trained, they know what they're doing, they've built it, they've drilled their bodies and minds for thousands, countless hours. And so when it comes time to do it, when they're doing it in the real world, let's say, they can pretty much close their eyes and just feel it with their heart. And then their bodies just do what they're supposed to do. They're still present in the moment. You know, if something were to go wrong, if they broke a drumstick or popped a guitar string or shoelace came untied or something, that they could deal with it. But they're just in that blissful state of just kind of letting the fire and the earth do their magic together. Heart and mind aren't bothering it. Heart and mind are there, but there's just this resonance, right, that creates no resistance. I talk about that a lot. Fire to earth, creation to manifestation, the impulse to the behavior, right? The inspiration to the implementation. It's usually our thinking and feeling that get in the way, that prevent that. So when we're talking about a Four of Pentacles, it's let's create our lives in such a way that everything just runs smoothly and we can just be in that kind of blissful moment of lucid awareness, but not interfering with everything, not feeling like we have to rack our brains and twist our hearts up to figure everything out. You know, there's a structure and an order here with these fours. And I really find it interesting that we've got this Wheel of Fortune card here. This is the real gold, I think, right? Because I think it's a focus on this commitment, whatever it is, which it does seem like it's something career-related, financial, something physical. It could be the romance for some of you, but I think for the majority of people, this is going to be a recommitment to a purpose, a plan, a business, a career, a project, something that we're building, right? And to have this Wheel of Fortune energy is really, really crucial because this is the universe sanctioning this. This card is saying that things are going to fall into place when you start reinforcing your commitment to this thing, and we've streamlined our lives and we're focusing as much of our time and energy as we can on this. The universe is going to respond, right? The universe is going to match that, kind of like dollar for dollar, you know. And it could be family, it could be we're refocusing on family, or we're refocusing on work, right? It could go either way. But whatever you devote yourself to is going to really expand and grow. And we have to have a little bit of faith and hope and trust in that. Okay, and that's what this card is asking of you. And that's why it's in the position of the difficulty. Because it's difficult to trust, right? And there's always this idea that, no, I can't just have trust. I have to be involved. I have to be the one to do it. It's got to be under my control. The universe is saying, no, look, this is going to be very successful, very abundant, very lucrative, very fruitful, whether this is a family thing, a romance, a business, whatever it is. You've struck gold, right? And all we have to do, and it seems simple, right? All we have to do is allow it to happen, create space for it to happen. But we've got to make the conscious choice to walk through this doorway. This is the Eon Judgment, Rebirth, Reawakening. The universe is calling you to step through this doorway. This portal is appearing, and it is not easy, right? This is a fiery door. It's a baptism by fire. And as we step through that fire, what's burning off of us is all this extraneous stuff, all the frivolous stuff that we don't need, that's making us heavy, right? And we want to be light, right? So we're making that decision to do this, and it is going to take a lot of work. I mean, just the swords energy that we talked about, that's a lot of work, right? But this is a huge win, right? This is really going to pay off for you, recommitting to this, again, whatever it might be. And if you want to leave some comments and let me know kind of what it is for you, that would be, well, that'd be swell. But of course, you're under no obligation to share any details of your personal life. I like that we have this energy for you. And I like that every one of you probably has something unique that you're committing to. And just know that if we commit to it, we've got to bring in that water energy. That's what we're missing. Let's look at the mystery card. It's got to be water. Because that's what we need to bring into it. We need to have that connection, and that is really what we're looking for. That's what we're committing to, is that feeling of destiny, of bliss, of being right where we're supposed to be, doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. I'm thinking water energy. Put your prediction in the comments section. It's not water. It's not water. It's a 3 of swords. Now, before you sigh and get frustrated, the 3 of swords is not always a negative card. Every card has light and shadow, right? So the 3, and it's quite good, because the 3 of swords is exactly what I said the Queen of Pentacles needed to do. Search your memory, search your past, your history, to find that feeling, right? To find that time in your life when you had that commitment, you felt that love and joy and bliss, and to take that with you into the future. Well, this card's all about memory. This card is all about the understanding the process of creation on the mental plane. So when we search our memories, and usually this card is negative, right? Usually. Because it's us reliving things in our mind that's usually negative stuff. It's usually past traumas that we keep re-experiencing. We remember it, we relive it, and so then we re-traumatize ourselves, right? But in this case, this is a very good skill to have, to be able to pull something from your memory and relive it, experience it right now. And that's the water energy. This is what we're looking for. And it's interesting that it's the 3 swords going through the heart. It's like you're nailing it down. You're grabbing a hold of that intellectually. You're grabbing hold of that memory that contains that feeling. Yeah. So this is a very positive card right now. This is what we are looking for, and it is a card that's confirming for me, for this reading, that says you need to search your memory and find that moment where you felt that bliss. Find this thing that we are committing to. Find the feeling, because that is what we need to hold on to. And that's going to bring, this card is going to bring all the water energy in. Right? It's going to bring all of it in. It is a conscious choice. We have to go through that doorway, and we have to do this. Yeah, very good reading for you. We're going to do an extended as well. If you want to stick around, click either above or there should be a link below. New readings for Libra every Wednesday and Saturday. All right. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. Thank you, and I love you, and we're all in this together.